Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP. Let's see if we can actually get everybody on here. All right. Hi, welcome to TFYLP, episode 598. We are live tonight. It is Wednesday, October 2nd. I'm Lucas. I'm joined tonight by Anna.
Good evening.
And Phil. Phil, wake up.
What? Oh, yeah, we were delayed to start. I just kind of dozed off there.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Past your bedtime, old man.
Yeah, what?
You're even in Central Time. Don't have the excuse like Anna.
Toys. I know. Like, as much as I was like just kind of goofing and faking that, like part of me is like, I could just fall asleep right now. This is actually kind of nice.
Oh, me too.
A super exciting episode, then it sounds like.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited.
We're also, I think we're joined by Christian. Christian, you there somewhere?
What up? Question mark?
Your is your video working?
Not yet.
Okay. So
I'm working on fixing my stuff.
Fair enough. Yeah, we had some Skype I don't know, like weird stuff. I was having some trouble connecting myself to people, and it like crashed and whatever. So, and I think there's a Paul in there somewhere too. He might be joining here in a minute. So, but until then, we have the Skype blue backgrounds. So
we're a big advertisement for Skype.
Yay!
Or not, because it's partially not working.
Yeah, kind of an anti-tisement.
Skype,
I don't know,
Microsoft.
it's kind of weird because it's like Skype's kind of on its last legs, right? But it works really well for a lot of the like broadcast software to import the stuff. So that's what a lot of people use. So I don't know. I suppose I could look and see if like Zoom or Teams works, but I don't know. I think it costs money to do that, right? Like Skype's free. And I think Zoom and Teams cost money, so, you know.
Yeah, Zoom, like, you can go free for only 45 minutes at a time.
Mm.
Yeah.
We're never under 45 minutes
right.
with our jabbering.
Imagine our podcast going under 45 minutes. I don't know.
I can't imagine
We used to do that
because
with
it's not
microcasters.
real. We did.
That's true. That is true.
We did. I feel like we need to do a microcasters for those two goofy comic guys that just came out.
Flame and Emirates.
Yeah, they're quite the...
Emirates Zeron.
Sure. I'm pretty sure those words were never meant to be said out loud.
Why?
Because he's a comic character. The comics don't talk to me. If the comics talk to you, that's really cool.
Uh-huh.
It is interesting.
Whatever you have.
Spoken out loud. I mean, there's lots of characters that like have no representation other than like the back of the like toy box.
But like to Anna's point, there is in the Star Wars, first in the comics and now in the show, the kind of evil Wookiee bounty hunter guy, Black Chrysanthemum. And the writer who came up with the character and the name has said he doesn't know how to pronounce the name because he didn't think it'd ever be spoken by a person.
I could see
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
I like that as well. We'll get to those guys eventually.
That would be an interesting episode to discuss like characters that have never actually been spoken out loud. So do we actually know what the pronunciation should be?
That would be fun. That
Be
would be
riveting.
fun. Yeah, be really riveting. We would just be mispronouncing names the entire time. Is it Zaron, Zaron, Zaron,
Duran,
Xaaron?
Aaron. There we go.
Atron.
Yeah, Xaaron. But
So,
today, instead of butchering comic names, we're going to be probably butchering some Japanese names as we talk about Takara.
why, yes.
I heard they're not from around here.
They're not. So Lucas always likes to have these episodes on, like, what's Hasbro doing today? 3 days later, what's Hasbro doing now? And then a few minutes later, oh, what's Hasbro's current direction? So I thought maybe we were kind of overdue to have a what's Takara's current direction episode.
They are splintering again, and it's kind of fun and kind of frustrating.
Yeah, that's true, because they did this whole like sort of kind of brand unification thing for a minute where it was like, if it's going to come out here, it's going to come out there and it's going to be the same. And that was going for a second. And now we're back to having stuff like this again, right?
Well,
Here
I'm
it
trying
is.
to. When we say it was a second, it's been like multiple years, right? Like I'm trying to remember.
No, you're right. It's been years.
When they actually did the brand unification. Has it been like 5 years? See, this is why we need.
It started with Titans Return Triptychon.
Okay.
Yeah, Power of the Primes was the big change.
Yeah. And how long ago was Power of the Primes? Because I honestly kind of forget at this point. Was it 5 years?
It was 2018. It's been 6 years.
Oh God.
Yep.
See, this is where time just flies with COVID. You miss those COVID years. So a minute is 6 years.
A minute is 6 years. So that brand unification was interesting, but we were before that, we were all really excited about the Legends toys, right? We would get the Legends toys, which would take a Generations figure. And then sometimes a really kind of not that great Generations figure with like the Windblade to Slipstream thing. They would take a not so great one and they would do things to it. And then they would produce a pretty good figure out of it. Like the Slipstream figure is pretty good. The original Windblade figure is pretty bad. So it was kind of a cool thing to see what they would come up with. They took the Target Masters that Hasbro was releasing without Target Master friends, released them as Headmasters, and gave them Target Master friends that are the coolest Target Master molds we've ever gotten, and we're still not getting them in the States. But anyway, that was cool stuff back then. Like, it was fun.
Yeah, then we got we did get a few things, I think, in that time frame with the brand unification. Like we got Super Megatron, we got Star Convoy. So there's a few dudes that snuck in there on the Takara side, but it's been nice with Pulse that you were able to order those dudes from Pulse. But yeah, I mean, to me, Super Megatron is a great example of hey, here's kind of a crappy toy in this Titans Return Galvatron, and we're just going to make it really, really good to show you that even with a crappy foundation, you can make a great toy out of it.
Well, I feel like the biggest change now compared to before is the fact that all of those at least the vast majority of them are going up on Pulse. And so it's I don't have to sit there and, figure out what Japanese retailer that I'm going to order from, or in some cases, with some of the Takara exclusives, you couldn't get it at all, to just being able to order it on Pulse. I'm trying to remember now what is available. Are there still things that are Takara Tomy exclusive, Takara Mall exclusives that are not available on Pulse? I can't remember.
So we had the bright red Optimus Primal.
A lot of those Convoy, yeah.
The Burning Convoy. So there was this whole slew of clear red plastic remolds that were exclusive in Japan, depending upon somewhere like movie theater exclusives. So it was a pretty wide variety there of where you can get those and find those. Maybe not. Paul's giving me a weird look. So Paul, correct me.
You're just talking about burning convoys. You said a bunch of red plastic toys. Did you?
Into 3 microns.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I believe that Takara Tomy Mall exclusives still show up on Pulse. There aren't a lot of those, but like dark. We don't even really have to pay attention to what's Takara Tomy Mall exclusive anymore. It just always shows up on Pulse. It's the other deviation, special event and promotional items that we don't seem to get. That they're diverging a little bit. We're getting back to the good when it was awesome. It's still pretty awesome, but
and then we're getting really crazy stuff these days from Takara that won't come out of the US, like the Manju Natsuki thing, the $4,500 little all metal Optimus thing, which is a really cool thing for Takara to do, but it really does kind of show just how willing to be unusual they are these days.
Yeah, well, unusual to us.
Fastener?
That sold out by
Yeah,
the
it's
way.
the fastener.
Did you know that?
It's out?
It's sold out.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They only made like 6.
Yes. There's enough rich Japanese people that they were able to buy it.
Right, but like what the Japanese market's going to want, or the Asian market in general is going to be different than what we want in the US market too. So it might be there might be something that's like odd to us, but that, they would really, want to go after.
And I agree with that. It's a wildly unique thing. Like I was trying to think of like what would be the equivalent like type of cultural artifact to make from American history that would be the same kind of thing. And it's like what? A transforming American flag? And they can't really do that. So it's just a neat thing that could only really happen, the way it happened. I mean, I guess they could have made a cheaper version that would be made out of plastic and not nearly as meaningful.
A shockwave that turns into an AR-15.
Yeah, gun was definitely my first thought.
That's very American right there.
Yeah. Cowboy gun was what I thought, actually.
But yet, you can actually release a gun in the Japanese market, whereas you can't in the American market. Like, for example, Paul, I think that you got something, a Megatron squirt gun, maybe? Didn't you get that?
Yeah, I can go grab that right now.
Yeah, like
right
there's
over
zero chance that would ever come out in the US. I mean, it's just that looked pretty relatively realistic. I mean, other than I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was a little bit oversized, wasn't it?
Slightly. I mean, I'll just go grab it because I haven't looked at it in a long time. But that was also a licensed product, believe it or not. That was not a. It was branded Transformers, but it was a squirt gun company.
Right. Well, like here in the U.S., I mean, shoot, like we barely get squirt guns. Like, those have really like kind of went down too. Like anything that's a gun shape is kind of, just frowned upon. So.
Oh, you haven't been in the Nerf aisle in a while, then, Lucas.
I was gonna say it is in fact Nerf or nothing. Haha.
Well, Nerf, but yeah, right. But they don't look like actual guns. Is what I'm saying.
No,
That's
they
kind
don't
of
look
point,
like.
Yeah.
There was the squirt gun line in the late '80s, I believe, called Enertech, that looked like realistic guns. Like if you ever look up that toy line, like Google it and look at the images, it's like, holy crap, how many kids died because of these things? They were super realistic. I had a Beretta one, and it was like you could not tell it was a squirt gun. I mean, kind of similar like what Paul's on up there with that squirt gun Megatron. It did not look like a squirt gun. Yeah, there's not even an orange cap on that Megatron.
No,
Reginald
no
Bell
need for
Johnson
it.
would definitely shoot you and have traumatic, like PTSD because of that. Die Hard reference for those folks who don't get it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a cool item. For
make you feel like a big man holding that there, Paul?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
I bet so. It was pretty neat,
So-
and
so
it's
strong.
another of those things that could only happen from Takara.
Have
So,
we
you know,
not,
there's all
like,
this-
just thought about, like, as a fandom, like, getting the NRA on our side? Like, what's the deal here? Why can't we have toy Megatron guns?
Why, yes, Phil.
You know
just
what we
gave someone
get?
some bad ideas, Phil.
Definitely. You know what we get a bunch of in the States for Transformers is popcorn buckets, right? Like we may be lacking transforming guns, but we sure do get popcorn buckets.
No, was it China or Japan that got the Grimlock popcorn bucket that we didn't get here?
Oh, they get a better one than us? Well, geez, we don't even get popcorn buckets
Oh, that
anymore.
thing like lights up and makes noises, and you eat popcorn out of Grimlock's butt.
I like
It's
it.
universal in Japan.
Mm.
Maybe it's more his back than his butt, but still, close enough.
So this is a little off topic. I mean, it is, but you know, everyone's freaking out about the Megatron, the '86 Megatron that is not going to be a gun.
Right.
You know, this is almost like old news at this point, but people still I still see posts about it. I do think that there is a 1 in 100 chance that Takara just goes rogue and makes their own Studio Series 86 Megatron. And
I think it's
and like the deal is Hasbro just won't pay for any of it, is my guess. They'll be like, well, you're on your own for this. I just don't know. I feel like that's a gamble worth taking.
I
So
kinda
many
think
people
you're right.
would buy that.
See,
so many people would buy it, and Takara goes rogue like that sometimes. You know, sometimes they're just like, oh, you won't fill in the gap right? We'll fill in the gap. We got this. We'll just go ahead and make that thing you didn't bother with. So I could see it.
I was gonna say, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was gonna be some kind of like weird way that it could kind of turn into a gun, and that like there's some relatively easy remolding that Takara could do, like that to somehow actually turn it into a gun.
You can see that.
That's where I
yeah.
would kind of, could kind of see it too. But
It won't turn into a gun. It'll turn into a submarine.
right.
You know what would be really funny is if this 86 Megatron comes out as Studio Series 86 number concept art Megatron, because he's not really everyone's pissed because like he's not in the movie, it's not right. But it'd be like reverse concept art. It'd be like
Yes.
post concept art.
Re-concept.
Wait.
Modernized concept art.
What? Who's not in the movie? Oh, you're saying the tank Megatron is not in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, I got what you're saying now.
Megatron.
Megatron's pretty much in the movie. I mean, he's got a pretty prominent role.
So
It's just that it leaves the door open for the real 86 Megatron, from I don't know, whatever.
so
Is
what-
Megatron the instrument of destruction, or is it the other
Probably.
Decepticons?
The words, it's plural, so there's multiples. So it's all
Okay.
of them. It's all of
Are
us.
they all tools of foul play?
So what is on topic is Soulcraft mentions that he says he has faith that Missing Link Megatron will happen, which would only happen with Takara in their new Missing Link line, which is one of the things that we would talk about tonight. That's one of the amazing things that Takara is dabbling in now. That Paul, what are your thoughts on Missing Link?
Oh, come on. I love Missing Link. It's the greatest thing to ever happen to Transformers.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would say we go with the weird, obscure stuff first, but since someone brought up Missing Link, we can just go with Missing Link first. And our first Missing Link figure was this year, right? We technically did get our Missing Link convoy earlier this year, quite a few months ago at this point, but that line officially became real and is continuing to get expanded. And it's just something like, I don't know. I think so many people had kind of given up on it at this point. Like, people have been talking for a very long time. Wouldn't it be cool just to get our G1 figures again with articulation? And then Hasbro instead's like, no, what we're going to do is we're going to take your G1 figures and we're going to paint them up to look like the cartoon models that they never really looked like. And they did that. And that was fun. Some people really love them. I've heard several people, a couple people in this room talking about how great the cartoon colored Optimus is. But Takara instead said, no, we're going to take the toys and we're going to make them move like modern toys for some reason, because this will appeal to somebody. I feel like it was a gambit. Like, there was a chance that people would say, ew, we don't want that. But that has not been the case. We like it.
It is interesting how our reissues they're just non-existent in Japan.
Yep.
There's no crossover there, whereas there is with everything else.
Oh, really?
So like
I didn't
those are
realize that.
exotic. Yeah, those are exotic like repaints if you live in Japan.
Oh,
I mean, that's
funny.
my impression. I'm not in Japan to tell you if that's really how it feels, but
Right. So somehow
I mean-
they're clamoring for all the stuff going to Walmart.
Yeah, I mean, that's my point. Is they're Walmart exclusive, so that makes it a little bit tricky, with how things get released in other countries when it's a store exclusive here. That is interesting, especially when you look at a character like Bumblebee that had like not just a reissue, but a remolded head for the Walmart Bumblebee they put out a few years back.
those got released in Japan though. Those
Well, then
particular
F
ones.
me.
And that head was from
no,
a
but what you're
previous
saying-
release in
what
Japan.
Did you say, Christian?
That new head was from a previous release in Japan.
Yeah.
It's okay. Just tell me to go F myself. That's fine.
No, I'm not
Like,
telling you to go to
Feel you're stupid, you're
What-
wrong. Just go down.
What's interesting though is like all the what do they call them, the 5,000 or the 100, the Velocitron set, that all came out.
Oh, Expedia.
Yes. So it's like it's weird. Some of those things do, but then all the Amazon stuff does not at all. Unless I don't know. It's just very strange. Like those G1 reissues are unique, I guess, in like the promotional segment between the two companies. I don't know why. But then maybe it's sort of like how all these reissues, like the stuff that was at the 40th Expo, that seems to be Japanese only too. Maybe that's like those are the two, like, hey, we're going to do this separately. It manifests in Japan as like these event exclusives. It manifests in America as Walmart exclusives. But those Walmart exclusives are available outside of America, just not in Japan, like very prevalently. I noticed that at TF Nation. They had all the Walmart stuff like months before it came out over here. So it was very strange. So clearly they can order. And remember, Cosmos was also plentiful in Europe as well, because they could order like by the case. But in America, it's a different story. I don't know. Maybe everyone knows this. I'm just thinking out loud, mind spewing.
Yeah, I think this is a good point though, because I mean, just starting with the Missing Link and starting with the different approaches to the G1 figures, because it's like we got Missing Link coming from Takara, and then Hasbro was like, "Nah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna repaint G1 figures as movie '86 colors," and then Takara's like, "Nah, we're gonna do more Missing Link." And Hasbro's like, "Actually, we're gonna do our own Missing Link Prime as a retail figure that moves with full articulation and looks like plasticky and modern, instead of trying to look like a die-cast old toy." And it's just like they're doing the same stuff in different ways. in such a way that we want all of it, which is amusing.
Well, and I wasn't honestly sure like how many figures were going to come out in Missing Link. I mean, we saw Convoy, right? And you're like, okay, like is this are they only going to do a couple figures and then be done with it? Like, even when, they had Bumblebee and Cliffjumper, but then now the fact that we've seen RC and Hoist, right? Is Hoist the other one?
Sunstreaker.
Sunstreaker.
Oh, Sunstreaker, sorry. RC and Sunstreaker. Yeah, like it was like, it's like, okay, they're going down the catalog a little bit more. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's a really neat, like that's where I want Takara to actually focus their efforts. Like if they're not going to really do a significant job of like making the figures much nicer, like how they, did in the past. And I guess they still have been doing a little bit of that too, right? Because they got that Decepticon bridge set. They had a couple different sets like that. They had the Autobot set. So I guess I don't know. It seems like that for whatever reason, it seemed like that they really kind of scaled back for the longest time. And it seems like now they're finally just kind of getting back out to like actually diverging in putting a lot more stuff out.
Yeah, it certainly seems like the energy they were putting into the MP stuff, they're not totally done with that. We're still getting MPG, some releases, but even then it still feels at a slower pace than what we were getting maybe like the mid 2010s. But that energy and focus seems to have been turned towards the Missing Link toys, given, like you said, Lucas, we've got 6 Missing Links either out or on the way, between Prime, Sentinel Prime. So you got 2, uses of that mold, and B and Cliffjumper, and then Sunstreaker and RC. And RC is, I think Sunstreaker and RC caught everyone by surprise.
And RC is the reason that I think the whole idea of them doing their own Studio Series 86 Megatron later might actually happen. Because it's like they just said, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to make a G1 RC. Like out of nowhere, right? Like people had wanted that to happen for a very long time and thought it would be interesting for it to happen. And thought it would be interesting if the prototype could be released or made or whatever. And then Takara is just like, you know what? We're doing Missing Link. Might as well just throw in RC. She's a Missing Link, whatever. They're not even doing movie figures, right? They're doing original cast figures, I guess, mostly. And then it's just like, here's RC too. RC and Sunstreaker, right? They don't go together. Cliffjumper and Bumblebee, they go together.
I could see them doing RC both in the prototype colors and then her bubblegum pink colors.
Surely.
Sunstreaker, you can do the Diaclone version of him. You don't have as many things you can turn Sunstreaker into, but those, I didn't get Prime. I'm surprised at how much I like Sentinel Prime when I saw it in hand in Paul's office. I got, I think, maybe one of either B or Cliffjumper, but not both. But man, RC and Sunstreaker are like, that's the direction I want that line to go. Start getting some of those car Autobots and that sort of deal. I'm surprised we haven't gotten a single Decepticon yet, but I'm sure that's coming.
Well, Phil, like you had mentioned, you're like, oh, that they're diverting their efforts away from Masterpiece. But like, I know someone had mentioned that too previously in it. And like, I don't really think that they are though. Like if you go look at the number of releases that they've released with the MPG line, I think it's just as many as what they had over the last few years. It's been very slow for a number of years. But I also don't think that they really released that many Masterpiece to begin with. Like, I think like if they release like 3, in a year, like they're doing good.
MP's been slow for quite a while, but I would argue that, last year we saw the MPG happening with the trains And then we saw MP Rhinox, right? Not really last year, in the last year, very recently. And MP Rhinox is very consistent for the rest of the MPB scores. He's very, very impressive, very nice, very well made, and very much like, that modern, like surprising how well he transforms type of figure. Where the MPG stuff just feels like, I guess I'm just gonna say a step back, right? Like they just feel like a step back, a step towards the stuff Hasbro puts out with like the heavy kibble and the sacrifices and all of that stuff. And I feel like that is kind of my point. Is like now we've got these really impressive missing link figures coming out, but the replacement for mainline MP seems to all be this like kibble-tastic, fancier mainline looking stuff instead of what we were getting from MP. Because the Jinrai, he kind of fits that bill so far too, at least in pictures. He might be really impressive in hands.
I don't know. I was about to say, Anna, that I was going to hold off on my thoughts on that until we got Jinrai. But we did get the reveal of God Bomber, and God Bomber definitely has more of that train bot MPG aesthetic where it's like, this is, there's some liberties taken on his proportions and all of that. So it is, there's not just like this slavish, we're going to make this look exactly like it, did on the screen back in the 80s kind of deal, like we were getting from some of the late car MPs and Transformers G1 MPs.
Yeah, it's a really different approach. And there's that little bit in my mind that says this probably isn't true. It's probably completely just like Anna's brain being nonsense. But I kind of feel like the best talent moved to Missing Link, and then Tier 2 came on and worked on MPG. That's what it looks like from the outside. It's probably literally the same designers, but that's what it looks like to me, because MPG looks like a step down from like, MP44 and 52 and 45, the really fancy, your favorite main characters made beautiful type of figures.
To me, I feel like that they're having multiple issues on the Masterpiece front. One is that on a lot of them, like the train bots included, like I think aren't they actually like getting licensing and making them the like vehicle modes like actually match the scale of the figures or whatever, actually make it look like the actual trains or
The trains,
cars, or whatever. Obviously, like Genrai is not the same, but I think the other thing is that they're having trouble, like with just the cost of materials and parts counts and things like that. Like, I mean, I think we all know that, like, if they release a figure that is $300 or $400 or $500, that, like, people are going to be, maybe second guessing some of that stuff. Like, I can't remember how much was the Masterpiece Optimus Prime MP44.
See 400 with the trailer.
You could get him for $3 something, like if you did it right. I know that.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I still think it's like, I mean, that's a fair amount of money no matter who you're talking about, right? So like that's where I kind of wonder that, I mean, we have no idea, but like, did MP44 maybe not sell as well as what they're hoping? Like, still sold really well, but not crazy. And so maybe they're like, oh, wait, like if we release the, Missing Link or whatever for $100 or whatever, that maybe that's gonna, like we're gonna move more units and be able to make a higher profit margin on that than some of the Masterpiece. I mean, who knows? We have no idea. We're just speculating.
Yes.
I feel like MP44 didn't sell as well as they were hoping. They didn't do a rerun of it like you kind of would have expected. Right. I think the price is, sure, it's one thing, but like, do not underestimate the damage that the third party Transformers world has done to that entire official market. How many other Optimus Primes that looked so close to the one that was coming out came out 2 months before? Light of
Yeah,
Freedom.
multiple.
Yeah, all that stuff. And so if the demand was what? Sliced and gutted there, like everyone could buy
Right.
the thing that was good enough to them for like $100.
Right.
A large majority of people think that's the better deal, right? Because I mean, from a monitor's perspective, it is, but you're buying two different things.
No, you're
So,
entirely
anyways.
right. And I
Right.
think that was probably a big effect because at that point you did have the option of just buying the Magic Square, just the cab by itself that turns into the Optimus. And then you probably had an MP10. So if you really wanted to, you could just use the trailer from your MP10 with your new Light of Freedom and just have them together and be like, oh, I've got a complete Optimus now. And it's way fancier than MP10. Maybe not as fancy as MP44, but this is great. And I think
The same thing.
I think
The
you're
same
right.
thing happened with the last Jetfire and the Seekers too.
Yeah,
Same.
because
Right.
Jetfire had already been done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I
And-
really feel like that Takara is just like has this new strategy where they're just like, you know what, we're gonna do like throw some different stuff against the wall, and we're gonna go missing link. We're gonna go. What's the other those crossover line things that they're doing? What's that all called?
Oh, T-Spark?
Is it T Spark? I think that's.
Are you
it.
talking about like the Godzilla and the Zoid stuff?
Yeah, right. Like the Zoids and like they have a bunch of random figures in that,
And the
right? Like
Transforming
didn't they have like a
Rodimus is
Rodimus in
T-Spark.
there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think T-Spark is just their anniversary thing because the Lyo Convoy's in that too.
Yep.
But like I feel like that they're kind of doing a lot of that almost as a way to be like, all right, we're gonna release this all, and then like kind of based on some of the sales that they almost kind of get some more marketing of like, okay, well this is what the market actually wants right now. Like they want this instead of that. I mean, I could be wrong, but
See, my whole argument was going to be that they've gotten uniquer lately. They've gone a more unique route. Like they're trying to put out things that other people aren't touching, that other people aren't really trying. Like MPG, right? Like that's a design aesthetic no one else is doing, right? Like it's not a, strict show accurate MP look. It's not a more like stylized Planet X style, we're going to do what we want to do type of deal. It's like this weird perfected toy look that nobody else is really trying at the moment. And then you have crossovers that are very different than the type of crossovers Hasbro does. They do crossovers with space, We get cool things like this from them that are just... Personally, I never saw this coming, right? I never saw that we would get an actual like lunar rover of Optimus Prime. Like that's really neat. And it's very much something that, that Hasbro is going to do more 80s properties as crossovers. But this one kind of came out of nowhere. And it's pretty cool.
I think that's, of all these Optimuses that have come out this year, that is my favorite one.
It's just neat.
And it's a good toy. It's good. It's really nice.
It is a good toy.
Satisfying.
Yeah, nice, not overly complicated. It's kind of in that whole MP Skids world of things that are, not more complicated than they need to be, but very nice looking and very satisfying as far as a figure. So it's cool. But yeah, that's been a thing. And like, I think one of the things that really got me excited to do this episode was when we got the pictures of the Rathalos Prime, the Monster Hunter crossover. Because again, that's a crossover that I don't think Hasbro was going to touch because it's a very Japanese game. But it's just like such a neat thing, like that is it. That game series, Monster Hunter, is a massive phenomenon. in Japan. Maybe not as much here, but there it's just absolutely massive and has been for a long time. So it's really cool to get like the iconic monster crossed over. Really probably soured the poor Godzilla fans though, because I feel like here they did that wonderful crossover with Monster Hunter where everyone's like, wow, that looks so cool. And then they look back at the Godzilla crossovers that got revealed like just a week before and it's like, oh man, why did these look like that?
Yeah, so did they
That was
put
a
their A
disappointment.
team on Monster Hunter and the B team on Godzilla or what?
It's so rude.
I know. I really shouldn't say that.
I think it's just a matter of time. Like the timelines for Godzilla were scrunched compared to that thing.
Maybe.
I still think it's probably more to do with like a Toho licensing thing. That's my hope, because the Godzilla Megatron and Mechagodzilla Optimus seem so half-assed.
Have those been put up for sale yet, or is that still like unknown?
Still unknown. Like we don't even know if it's going to be a single like 2-pack thing or if they each coming out as a single release.
Yeah, that's right. I still want that real bad, even though it's been like a few weeks.
I like them. I'm getting them.
Well,
so let me ask: does anyone know much about Monster Hunter? Is Rathalos is that the name of that dragon beast?
Yeah, it's a Rathalos. It's
okay.
It's a monster from the game, an iconic monster from the game that they use for all the crossover stuff.
I remember when that game came out, like on PlayStation 2 back in the day, and I wanted to get it, and I just didn't have enough cash. And then eventually, I got one of the Monster Hunter games for PS4, and I played it for like a week. And I just there's just too much. I just don't know what the heck I'm doing in this game. There's too many things to do. You've got a little cat guy running around with you, and like, I don't know what's happening. There's too many buttons. Like, but the aesthetics and the idea of like you're just you're chasing around like dinosaurs and dragons, and then you kill them and you turn them into armor and weapons. Like that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and they did such a good job with that because the actual look of the figure is designed off of the armor you can make from the monster. Which is so cool. Like, not only does it look like the monster in its alt mode, but then when you turn it into bot mode, it looks like it's wearing the armor you carve out from the monster. So it's a really cool homage.
Cool. Does the head of him, is that goggles or a crest on his forehead? The silver part, like above here. It's hard to tell.
They were going for crest. They could have been going for goggles. Both appear in the series at one point or another, but I think it's a crest.
Yeah. What did I say that made me sound old earlier? I just saw Ron's comment.
Just everything.
By me.
Phil.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe you mentioned a PS2?
Huh?
Maybe you mentioned a PS2?
Maybe the PlayStation 2. So
yeah.
You sure it wasn't the too many buttons comment?
Could be.
Did you have a whole thing of like, Phil, why do you sound old?
There's lots of reasons. Partially I've been drinking. But I'm really excited for this Rathalos Prime. It's weird that like knowing it's a Monster Hunter toy and Rathalos is a Monster Hunter character like sort of undermines this. But I really dig the idea. This is a new Prime. This is not Optimus Monster Hunter. This is Rathalos Prime. Like he's the 14th Prime, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's neat.
That's not his name, Anna, isn't it? Not his name. Rathalos is the American name.
Well, the video ad they made in English used the term Rathalos instead of the Japanese name for the creature. So they've used both. I'm sure the US release is going to say Rathalos on the package.
Oh, you think we're going to get it? I thought this was a Japan only, personally.
Because we got an official video in English, I can only imagine that we're going to get an official channel release.
It makes so much sense. You know, we didn't get that dragon.
We did not.
Which is not Japan.
The New Year's dragon.
Oh yeah, the Chinese New Year's dragon. Yeah, I forgot about that, dude. There's been quite a few Chinese focused Transformers that we have not had come over here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that whole toy line, the cartoon crossover one.
Oh, there you go, Christian. That is
Christian
nice.
apparently has it.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's Crimson Flame. That's his name.
I do not like the toy they base it off of. that was it. Steelbane or something was his name from the last night. But that is certainly an improvement.
That's what Takara does, though, right?
Yeah.
This is Hasbro. Or this is Hasbrasia, technically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well then, I stand corrected for once.
So can we? And if you guys want to, like, there's another thing I want to talk about in regards to this topic, and that is the kind of re-legends thing that Takara is doing.
The turd polishing.
The turd polishing, and we're getting that with some of the stuff that came out from like the Netflix wave of toys, but now we're even getting this with Earthspark toys, and
yeah, that's true.
It's really like one of those things where like they had Earthspark Jawbreaker and Earthspark Aftermath on sale like a couple of weeks ago on Amazon. It was like $14. And I was like, okay, cool. I've not seen these in stores. Like their price is almost like they're clearanced out already. So like I jumped on both of those, and they're not the greatest toys. They suffer from the same kind of like Earthspark and Cyberverse designs where it's like weird amount of tabbing, that you have to do to get everything. The tabs don't sit right. But they're not bad. And then, you see the Takara paint jobs, especially on Jawbreaker. And it's like, oh man, that's a lot better. And it's again, that sense of like, fudge, why did I buy this toy already? I should have waited for the Japanese one. And I just going through those emotions all over again, like 6, 7, 8 years ago when you had the Hasbro release 6 months later, Takara. It's like, here's something way better. Spend your money again, chump.
It started with Nightshade and then Thrash, right? Because Nightshade got the pictures of proper colors as opposed to the version we got, which was still good. They got a good toy.
They're all different. They're all different. All those, every single Earthspark toy in Japan is different.
Yep.
Even Twitch is improved.
Yep. Even though she wasn't bad in the first place. Yeah, she got improved a little bit. But Thrash and Nightshade are huge improvements.
Thrash is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nightshade's pretty different. Jawbreaker and Aftermath are very different. And hashtag exists.
Yeah.
Which is something we don't have.
Well, hashtag
and Alita
exists
1 also
scale.
Very different, but molding as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, those are good points. Yeah, I think those are a lot more interesting than the other Hasbro molds that they worked on. I think the Earthspark stuff is a lot more interesting just because they kind of Earthspark got compromised toys just like Cyberverse did. They got toys that were just for some reason weren't as good as mainline toys. They were just a step down. And then Takara was like, actually, we're going to fix these because this is the current running cartoon and people like it. So might as well make these good toys.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
It is, because those characters are fun characters that deserve more love than the Hasbro toys give them.
I agree with that. And it, like you said, it serves a purpose, right? It serves a purpose of properly respecting those characters. Whereas this guy, like, what purpose does he serve other than being a little wobbly and another version of another Megatron?
See, but that so we've got like the third like set of that just got released on Pulse last week, which is Blitzwing, Starscream, and Astro Train. And we've got I just looked at today on like Pulse. It says the Teletran 1, Jazz and Optimus. That's not supposed to come out until like April 2025 is what Pulse has that at.
Nice.
But to me, that feels like a continuation of what we were getting from the Premium Finish line. You got the Premium Finish. Yeah, then you got whatever they changed the name to for Beast Wars. And now they're doing it again for these guys, for these.
Yeah, this one's called Dramatic Capture.
Dramatic Capture, there we go.
But yeah, it's
I'll
the
say
same philosophy.
dramatic capture is definitely a step up from premium finish, because premium finish was like, for some reason, premium space mud, and no one asked for that.
That's true. Well, not on the movie figures. They did premium finish.
That's true. They did do those better. But this guy, like the finish on him is really good. It's just the mold isn't great, and you know, he's floppy. He's literally floppy. Like his knees aren't great and his arms aren't great, and that's kind of a bummer. But like as far as, as the third shiny silver painted recent Voyager Megatron, he's actually the best one, right? Like he's better than the two Netflix ones. Just, he's free of battle damage and marks, and it just works the best. The color scheme they did for him works really well. But does that make it worth hunting down, the premium finish, or the not premium finish, sorry, dramatic capture set? I'm not so sure. They're not that expensive though. Like compared to how expensive the Legends toys were back in the day. We were paying to get those things imported. We were paying like $45 for a deluxe. This is like $110 for 3 figures. 3 Voyagers.
Well, I think offering it from official channels probably helps, and then
it does, yeah, for sure.
And then also, like, the yen's a lot weaker against the dollar now than it used to be too. So
that is very true.
Yeah, just going back to the Combiner Wars trilogy with what Takara was doing then, it just was so much better. And like the Computron, the Decepticon Target Masters, even the Autobot Target Masters, just so much better than what we were getting here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a hard time letting go of some of those toys. Like I've sold some in the recent years as we've gotten like the Studio Series 86 figures. Like, do I still want the Titans Return Blur? Like that was a hard decision to make for me. And like there's times where I see someone with like the Takara Legends Hot Rod, that's the Target Master. It's like, oh, that looks good. Like I don't really have his Target Master Autobot buddies to pair him with, but I still kind of want that Hot Rod because damn, it looks good. So yeah, it's those are good looking toys. They are outdated in terms of their molds and some of the engineering to them, but man, Takara, like some of them Takara polished some turds for sure, but they also took like some really good toys and just made them spectacular. Especially the Decepticon Target Masters, especially are some of my favorites. Those, we haven't gotten replacements on those, but those would be hard to beat in my opinion. Like Trigger Happy is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They did polish some turds recently too, though, with the Beast Wars Versus figure sets. Like some things like Cheetor, right? Like
yeah.
Cheetor's Hasbro release is just ugh. I know. I still have it. I still haven't looked at Inferno. I can't wait to.
Megatron was also much better. Really about half of that line was like much better, and then the other half was a little bit better. And they just packed it so that the much better one was with the little bit better one. So you got both. But yeah, I got that whole flock, and I really liked them.
I think the bummer about that line for me was that after Kingdom, I had convinced myself, you know what? The Beast Wars figures they just weren't that good, right? Like these are just not as good as they could have been. They didn't match the rest of the line. Oh well, too bad. But then Takara was like, no, they're actually good. They just need to be painted better. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh damn it, they were good the whole time.
Yeah, I'm sort of interested if we'll see like Transmetal 2 Megatron or Tigerhawk or Silverbolt get that treatment in another 18 months or so.
Oh, that'd be really nice for Megatron and Tigerhawk and all of them.
You say that'll be nice, but then like in my head, I was like, God damn it. Like I will want the nicer toys, and I'll be pissed at myself from having to buy something twice, and it'll just be this like, how much better is it sort of thing. I mean, so far
Hey,
with the premium finish and the Versus Beast War toys, I haven't felt that those were necessary to upgrade, but that's not a done deal, so to speak.
With Beast Wars, I
one that's
really care
probably
about it. The others were kind of hit and miss. I picked up an Optimus from War for Cybertron. I'm going to be selling that one. I think, Lucas, you wanted it maybe. I picked up Starscream because it was super cheap, and it's better, just not substantially better. But the Beast Wars ones, I mean, I cared about those because that's what I came up on, so that's what I did.
Yeah, I think those are a big one. The one that's going to get a lot of people is Mainframe, right?
Yeah, that got me.
I'm still 50-50 on that one. I have it ordered, but like, do I need another same Jazz and an older Prime?
I don't want the mainframe, so I'm going to be selling. Yeah, I'm going to be making money on that.
You actually team
I
up.
want the Optimus and the Jazz.
Oh man, yeah. All I want's the Mainframe too.
Well, there you go. You guys should talk to each other. No.
Paul doesn't team up with people.
All right.
Paul's a lone wolf.
I mean, in a different time, yes, that would have been a great situation, but times are different.
Right. Understandable.
I am not here for Masterpiece still. I'm not impressed with what they're doing. You know, MPG's restarting with the, like we said, the exaggerated or not quite right proportions for Jinra and God Bomber.
Yeah.
And they're bringing out a 10-year-old mold with Diaclone Ironhide, which is like cool, but where was that 10 years ago? It's weird that you're starting your new relaunch of Masterpiece with that. And, you know, Missing Link, I don't $100 care about that. I $25 care about that, which makes me okay with the Hasbro one. But I am here for all the weird crossovers. Like, I'm very excited about Racing Prime and the Godzilla thing. Like, just give them to me. I think all those look really excellent. But it is strange overall that we're having a divergence again after so long of having just same stuff. It's weird.
I think it's a good weird. I'll say that much.
Sure, but it's like I'm out of practice with getting all this stuff. Like I had to get a Super Starscream from that convention a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh, they're just going to put it up on polls. They did not. So I had to, you know, scramble a little bit to get it. Earlier in the year, I scrambled and got the Burning Optimus Primal too. It's just I'm out of practice for that sort of thing. It was kind of fun and exciting, but also a little bit stressful to try and catch up.
I do like that phrase, just out of practice. That fits very well.
It keeps you spry, Christian.
I guess that's what I need.
Keeps you from like having people call you old like me.
Right.
That's true.
Fair enough.
I'll never be as old as you, though.
Youngin.
Because I'm in my
interesting-
30s now. I'm not that young anymore.
It's interesting to me how not into Missing Link you are, but it makes perfect sense because you didn't grow up with
Yeah, I
the
don't have
G1
that.
bricks.
Like, I'm interested in RC for a historical reason. Like, if they do her in the prototype colors, like, I'm interested in that just because it means something. But, like, I don't care about G1 toys in particular. I think it's cool that Sunstreaker is going to happen because that's the first Transformer. Like, that also means something from a historical perspective. And I mean, I get it, but I don't need to own it.
Sure, I totally, yeah, all that is completely valid. But what I'm really getting to is like, there is a time limit on Missing Link for being viable.
Right.
It's
And
our
you guys will keep
lifespan.
buying it. I will never buy it.
Right.
Except, you know,
There will be.
like I said, RC, but like generally my people won't buy it. And I say
Just
that in
didn't
Surge just
I hadn't
ordered the
thought of it that
reissue
way.
Optimus, so what do I know? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the weird one. I'm okay with that.
No, I mean, I think that there is something about it, though, because, I mean, that really appeals to me. I think that they'll look, especially with those toys, because we grew up with those toys, or, you know, either we had them or we wanted them back in the day. And so I just feel like we have a stronger connection than the older generation.
I
Yeah, I
am
think you have
really
to
into
have
Retro
had toys
Prime,
with
though.
it.
Like, that thing showed up on my doorstep on Monday, and it looks incredible. But it's also the package looks good to me. So, like, it looks like the G1 package. It looks like G1 Optimus, and it's the toy, and it's in the right colors, and that's what it looks like, and I'm happy. What is that?
Hot Wheels Ultra Magnus.
I will be buying that.
Ooh.
Boom. That's new.
Is it from the fleet or is it another super expensive diecast figure?
What?
Is it
Is
$10
it like-
or is it $200?
Oh, I think it's just a car. It's just a
Okay,
Cool.
just the car.
yeah.
Because they did
I
that
get
Hot
what you mean.
Opto
Mhm.
that transformed and
They
cost
did
a
the
lot of
Hot
money.
Wheels missing link Optimus.
This
Yeah.
is Track Fleet Ultra Magnets. It is just
Okay,
super.
a die-cast car.
I'll be getting that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think they're going to do more of those. Do you guys?
No, probably not.
It'd be
think
cool
we'll get
if
a
they
couple more.
did.
I think
Optimus.
Jazz probably.
Oh my God. You guys have, I mean, I've never had one thought on like, oh, the next one they should make is this. I'm just like, don't make any more. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't
Well,
think they'd make
They've
any
got a
more either.
Volkswagen license for Bumblebee that came out, and they also own Porsche, so I figure Jazz is coming. And I think that's an issue that we're seeing with Masterpiece as well. I mean, Lucas was talking about licensing. We've seen that Masterpiece clip jumper prototype around for 4 years now. I think something didn't work with the licensing for Porsche. Because it happened for Mirage and Studio Series, kinda, because they had to compromise the bot mode so much. And that clip jumper didn't come out. There's no MP Jazz. I mean, really, you guys have heard me talk about a Masterpiece for years now and why I got out and Lucas got me out of it. But like, one of the main reasons now that I don't go back is that they refuse to complete a set. Like, they keep rebooting the line before they get any of the art guys finished. It's like, okay, well, that's the set I care about. You're not going to do it, so get out of here.
I've always been comfortable. I shouldn't say always. I'm very comfortable filling those holes with fans' toys and whatnot with a third party. I got my fans' toys Jazz right there, and it looks good.
I was on that train too, but
Yeah.
I mean, third parties kept cannibalizing each other, and it was like, oh, there's a new one. Oh, there's another new one. Oh, there's a third new one. Oh, they're coming out at the same time. Like, I got tired of it. That's mid-teens, late teens Christian talking. Not my age, but the years that it was.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of that going on, like how many Springers came out at the same time. But you kind of find the one that is your favorite, and you just go with it.
But how many Racing Primes are there? One, I guess two, but like one lately.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that thing. I mean, it's a remold of Studio Series Crosshairs. Like, that came and went and nobody cared, but it's a really fantastic toy. I'm excited to see it as Optimus.
I feel like that turned me off when someone pointed that out. I was like, oh, this is neat. Maybe I'll get this. And they're like, it's a Crosshairs repaint. I'm like, yeah, I'll pass.
Ew.
Yeah.
It's a good toy.
I don't know. The idea that he was a trench coat wearing Transformer just always annoyed me.
That's neither here nor there. It's a good toy.
I mean, if you make a good toy of a piece of poop, it's still a piece of poop.
Yes, but haven't we been saying this whole time that Takara's been polishing those?
Yep, it does.
Yeah,
Good
that's
his
fair.
job.
Yeah, it's more, maybe it's just a mental issue that I can't get over, which, hey, wouldn't be the first time that my head prevented me from enjoying something.
But it's also cool to see, the rest of the T-Spark stuff. That Lio Convoy looks a lot better. I mean, my goodness, that thing looks crazy. The Rodimus looks crazy good. Very expensive, but I mean, that thing looks awesome.
Dude, that thing costs half of what I was expecting it to.
Yeah, me too.
So
I agree.
I'm just like happy.
Yeah, we're
So I
talking
think
about
I'm
like
in on that.
that's the flame toys, like transforming flame toys, Rodimus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's crazy. There's another T-Spark thing that's coming. And I
It's
wonder
the Zoid, right?
I'm really
Oh,
excited
the
about.
Zoids thing. Yep. Oh, the Masterpiece movie Bumblebee that's actually in the right colors finally after 7 years, 8 years since that mold came out. It's finally going to be the right color. Yeah, I'm excited about that too. So, I mean, they're doing stuff.
I really think Lucas hit on something that kind of not blew my mind, but made me be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Is that this whole T-Spark thing? is them kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing which one actually sells the best, and like, oh, that's the one that will. That's the way we'll go. And maybe Takara Tomy or the Takara brand side of it is not doing so good, and so that's why they're being creative. They're trying to see which part of the market they're not saturated in, and like build on that. And maybe it's the Japanese video game crossover stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's just like, hey, they're seeing the success that the US with Hasbro's having with their crossovers. You have a whole different market and universe of crossover nostalgia. In terms of, you've got a couple anniversaries that coincided this year with Transformers and Monster Hunter, Transformers and Godzilla. So you use that to, come up with an excuse to make these toys. And yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe this is a throw it at the wall and see what sticks. I'm on board for it. I don't like all of them, but I'm on board for new kind of weird stuff coming out. I think we've talked about for a while on this show how we just give us something new, give us something that we haven't seen before. I mean, this dude we have not seen before. To Anna's point earlier, this was definitely something we hadn't seen before in terms of the Moon Rover Prime. But it's still a fantastic toy. And yeah, I want to see more of that. I think that's one of the reasons why, like, the fact that the Earthspark toys frustrate me that Japan's getting better versions of those, because those are new characters. Those are new, sometimes brand new alt modes that we haven't seen before. So, the fact that we're not getting the premier versions of that here in the US is a little bit frustrating.
I agree with
I
that.
imported that whole wave, and they showed up, and they are better. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
It's weird
So
that
is
we're
the
back
last-
to that after so long.
Right.
It is.
Say again? It's
just
weird that
we're-
it's
It's weird that we're back to that kind of difference
Yeah.
after so long.
Paul, what you got in that box?
Some Temu specials.
Oh, there you go.
Future crinkly
Literally
paper.
what it is. Sorry.
What does it say? We can do a live oof my wallet here, right?
Anna, what was your next point?
I was going to ask a question to kind of close the topic, and that was, what do you hope to see in the future from Takara? Like, what are you hoping they do in the future that you don't know they're doing yet? Not like, I hope they make a Jinrai, because they are, but something else that you're hoping they do more of. I can start by saying that I want more video game crossovers. This shouldn't be much of a surprise. But, they've done Capcom properties before, because they did the Street Fighter toys a long time ago, and now they're doing another Capcom property. I'd really like to see them do like Konami properties, so we could get things like a Vic Viper or a Metal Gear. That would be really cool. So I'd really like to see some more video game crossovers.
Simon Belmont Prime.
That's too much to ask for, but I would love that.
I want to see more Zoids.
I think that could be cool.
You
I
see
still
more
want to know if that's a
Zoids?
figure or a kit.
Yeah, I was going to say that earlier. Like, I've not come across anyone online that I've broached that question to, that has said definitively it is X or it is Y. I think everyone looks at that as like, oh, it's that. Oh, it could be a kit, couldn't it? Or like, oh no, it's definitely a kit. It could just be a transformer, and so it's. I prefer, I think, a figure that transforms versus the kit, but I won't be sad if it's a kit.
If the kit transforms, I mean, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
All we have to do is stand up. So, like, that's a joint that you can make. I'm interested in that too, Phil. I think for me, I'm looking for more mainline gap fillers. So like the hypothetical Studio Series Megatron that is actually a gun, I'm interested in that. Or if we go back to Combiner Wars, Groove and Strafe, I'm interested in them. Or Brawl, I'm interested in that sort of thing. So like Hasbro's not making Wind Charger for the Arc guys. He's the last mini bot we need. Takara comes out with him and I can get him that way. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get a Wind Charger next year, whatever. But like stuff like that is, stuff to augment my current collection.
But we don't have a power ride, right?
Wow. That's pretty awesome, Christian, that you just manifested fireworks.
I know the live show can't see it, only you can.
Oh
no, the live show can't see it.
The live show
they
can
now?
see you. They just can't see it for me.
I can see it right now. Literally on the live show right now, I can see it. It's like that 20-second delay.
Nice.
I want more Missing Link toys, and I want them to have the balls to redeco the mainline figures the way they're doing the Earthspark ones. Bring the Divergence back.
Yeah.
Do it.
As long as we can know ahead of time, like we did with the Earthspark ones. I don't like the surprise, 2 years later, oh, guess what? Throw your old one away. I just want to know, okay, don't bother ordering the Hasbro one because the Takara one's going to be better.
Well, one last thing I want to add is that until tonight, I never realized that I kind of hope the Masterpiece line ends. For real.
Wow. Why
I kind of do.
She kills it, huh?
It can be done.
Because it's just their heart's not in it anymore. And I mean, I don't really want them to do that, but I've been collecting it since MP1, and I have them all, literally. So I have a complete giant collection. And then you're like, whoa, what do I do with this? But instead it just keeps trickling along. I'd rather they'd probably capture more with Missing Link than continuing Masterpiece for a time, as we also found out tonight. So I don't know. Those are my closing thoughts.
Can we at least get Rat Trap before that?
Yeah, I mean, that is what Rob said in the chat, that he wants more MP Beast Wars. I think, kind of, Christian, to your point of finishing up some lines and filling some things out. There's still some Beast Wars characters that need that MP love to finish up those teams.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think that's reasonable for them to be able to release the rest of the Beast Wars figures, or at least season 1. Whereas, I don't think that they're ever gonna release all the season 1, season 2, whatever, of the G1 Masterpiece. So I was gonna say, for me, Missing Link as well. I think more Missing Link all the time. I think that's just, I don't know. It's really neat figures, and so I just want to see more of those.
I'm not saying I want more of this, but I'm just realizing one thing we didn't talk about at all tonight, to my recollection, was the what do they call the movie MPs? It's not MP, it's MP what?
MPM.
MPM.
Masterpiece movie series.
Masterpiece movie. Thank you. I keep wanting to say MPG. It's no, it's not MPG. It's not miles per gallon. It's miles per meter. No, that doesn't work either.
Is that Takara, though?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh, okay.
It's actually Hasbro.
It's mostly Hasbro.
Okay. Well, then I'm wrong. I assume that anything
the
MP
new
was coming from
Bumblebee
Takara.
is Takara.
Mm.
The repaint Bumblebee is Takara.
Actually, that is interesting. You really put 2 and 2 together there.
They do repaints.
Soulcraft is hoping for MP Jazz and Mirage.
Yeah, those need to, if you're going to end MP, it would be nice to get those first.
You might get MPM Mirage.
That would be interesting if they did NPM Mirage and not MP Jazz.
We need
Again, it's that
NPM
licensing
Mirage,
problem.
though.
You get MPG Mirage, or I'm sorry, MPG Jazz, which doesn't exactly need the licensing.
MPG Jazz is like vaguely looks like the Action Master and then transforms into half a car. Sounds right.
Yeah.
He
He comes with
Transforms
a
into a
skateboard.
skateboard.
Ooh, yes, he transforms into his board.
Dude, there would be a nostalgic part of me that'd be like, yup, buying that. I don't care how stupid it is. Jazz and a skateboard is just, yup, give it to me. Like when Flames Toys did the Bumblebee kit with the helicopter backpack. It's like, all right, yep, you got me. You got me right there, guys.
It is one of the big mysteries, isn't it? Like of Transformers, like why isn't there a Masterpiece Jazz? It is.
I think the biggest Transformers unsolved mystery is where the hell is MP Clip Jumper?
I think the answer to that is the same answer.
The same place.
Correct. Yes,
licensing hell.
In one Facebook user's basement. That's where that Cliff Jumper is.
We need to resurrect Robert Stack to give us a couple of Ultra Magnus lines and do an unsolved mysteries of where is MP Clip Jumper.
I do want to mention
AI.
I do want to mention if you've made it this far, you should consider liking and subscribing TFYLP. So yeah, check that out. And then also Sunday night, don't forget about book club or whatever you guys have. Is it video club, book club, whatever you feel like? Club.
Lion Club, yeah. Lio Convoy Club.
It's just a club.
That's at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central on the TF Talk Discord. So check that out if you're interested. I think that's it, I guess. I don't know anything else, guys.
I get to fully participate in my other robot club this Sunday.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I got yeah, there's a monthly build night at my old comic book shop where most of the people there build Gundam kits. Some people build Legos, some people do other crafts, and like most nights it's on a Sunday where my wife works and I can only be there for like an hour, but this time I get to be there for the full 3 hours. So I'm excited for that.
There you go.
What are you gonna build?
Gonna bring your blockies?
No, Max built those like in a heartbeat. No, I've got like a dozen Gundam kits in my queue, and there's one that I've been working on. So yeah.
I thought you'd be doing Lego Bumblebee or something.
No one's had those. There's been like dudes who like will do like Lego Star Wars or like the Lego Wolverine claws, but no Lego Transformers that anyone's brought there. Some Lego.
I would
Super
do that.
Mario Brothers.
I would do that and bring my Flame Toys kits that I have not done for 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, but this is like the south suburbs,
too.
Paul. So this is going to be like a 3-hour drive for you.
1.5.
All right. I mean, if you want to go, man, I'll send you the info.
Try.
I think Christian could get there quicker than you.
With that, thanks guys for joining us this week. Thanks to everyone in the chat, and we'll see everyone next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Smash!